Point 21, now we're going to learn how to build marketing campaigns, because a lot of this is about marketing. There are 3 stages to a marketing campaign. Stage 1 is knowing your target. What's stage 1, everybody? Target audience. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's put it very, very simply. Most marketers, their biggest problem is they don't know their target audiences. Now, what do I mean by that? If I ask the average business, who's your target audience, they say, all women aged 30 to 50. Guys, it's hard enough to keep one woman happy. Can you imagine writing an advertisement for all women 30 to 50? It's not possible. It is impossible to write an advertisement to a large target audience. So what we have to do is we have to answer this question here. The first question we have to answer is, who are my 20 most profitable or sizable target audiences? Who are my 20 most profitable or sizable target audiences? Let me give you an example. I mentioned the accountant I worked with. When I sat with him and went through this exercise, I said, okay, tell me about your most profitable types of customers. Who do you get the most money out of? And he went through and he said, okay, business owner. I said, yeah, but that's still too broad. What types of business? He said, well, franchise companies. I make a lot out of franchise companies. Great. Where's your marketing for franchise company? What was his answer? We don't have any of that. Great, so we need to create that. Then I said, well, what's another one? He said, well, insurance companies. I make a lot of money out of insurance companies. Great, where's your marketing for that? We don't have any. At a suspension company, Petter's Suspension, they fix shock absorbers in cars. I said, what's your most profitable type of customer? They said, 4-wheel drive owners. Anyone with a big 4-wheel drive, they're our most profitable type of customer. Great, what's your next most profitable? What's your next most profitable? And looking at your existing types of customers, where do you make the most profit? Then I said to the Petter's guy, who's your most sizable customer market? First thing he said, because in Australia at the time, the #1 best-selling car was the Holden Commodore. He said, the Holden Commodore owners. I said, great, that's the biggest market. I said, what's next? He said, the Ford Falcon. I said, great, what's next? The Toyota Camry. Great, what's next? So now we had to write advertisements and marketing for owners of Ford Falcons. Literally, the advertisement read, Falcon owners. If you owned that car, what would you do? Read the ad. We got it even better later on. Attention, Falcon owners. I mean, these are the sorts of things we need to learn how to do as marketers. So the first thing you can do is ask, who are your target customers? Now, I'll give you another example of this. I owned a ladies' fashion store selling all high-end clothing, beautiful clothes, all that stuff. When I first bought it, I did a survey of all the past customers. I offered them a gift voucher if they filled in the survey. I got lots of the surveys back, but I learnt all about my customers. I learnt where did they get their hair done, who was their hairdresser. I learnt where did they buy their glasses from, where did they go to the gym, where did they go to the beautician. Why do I want to know all this stuff? Because the second question is, where will I find them in the highest concentration? What are those last 2 words? Highest concentration. I want to find as many of these people in a high concentration. I don't want to run an ad in a newspaper to 500,000 people if I can send a mailer to 100 people that are perfectly targeted for me. Does that make sense? High concentration is how we do targeted marketing. So I'll give you an example in that ladies' clothing business. One thing we learned was that 30% of our best customers all had their hair cut at one hairdressing salon. Was that a pretty good thing to know? What was my next question? Where will I find them in high concentration? On her database. So I went and met with the owner of that hairdressing salon and I said to her, listen, and I had these beautiful silk kimono gowns in Queensland, Australia, and they were beautiful, rich silk colours. It was coming into summer. And I said, how would you like to give one of these away to every lady that's ever had her hair cut in your salon as a thank you gift for them being great customers of yours? She said, well, we'd love to, but I can't afford that. I said, well, what if you could afford it? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, what if all you had to do was send them this letter and I would give them the gown on your behalf? She said, well, that'd be great. The letter basically read, hi, thanks so much for being a great customer of our salon. We really love customers like you, and sometimes we don't say thank you often enough. I was in this beautiful boutique the other day, and I saw this amazingly gorgeous set of silk kimono gowns, and I thought, what better way to say thanks than to buy one for you? So I did. Now, I didn't know which colour you'd want or which size would suit you best, so all I've done is I've left your name behind the counter there. You've just got to drop in and pick it up, or you can just take this letter so they know it's from me for you. All the best, her name. P.S. If there's anything we can do for your hair, please come back in or give us a call. P.P.S. If there's any of your friends that really need a haircut, please send them our way. Ladies, your hairdresser sends you that letter. What do? You go into the store and pick up the silk kimono gown. Now, we knew 30% of our best customers had their hair cut at her salon. So what did that mean the rest of her customers were like? Real good profile to be our best customers. We gave away 640 silk kimono gowns to her customers over a period of 6 weeks. The average person, when they came into our store to pick up their silk kimono gown, happened to spend $450 in the store whilst they were there. Would that be a strategy you think you might need to learn how to do, yes or no? Yeah, and this is what we have to do. That store, I learned a lot about business in that store. I learned a lot about sales. Men will buy clothes without trying them on. Women will not buy clothes without trying them on. You all know that? It's like amazing. And you know, simple thing, when you learn this stuff, you've got to break down your sales process and you learn step by step how the sale is made or the purchase is made. It's like in our restaurant. We know how to sell you dessert wine when you're having dessert. Do you know how to sell you a dessert wine or a cognac? If you're at a table, right, I just bring out and I put the dessert wine glasses out in front of you. And it's sitting there empty and then I walk away. What are you thinking while that dessert wine glass is sitting right in front of you empty? My glass is empty. Maybe I should fill it with something. So then we come around with a couple of different bottles and we say, right, who wants a drink? Glasses are empty, we need to fill them up. Take your pick, gang, or I can go and get some more. What would you like? All of a sudden we add $13 to $16 to every single person's buy at the table because we know how the sales are made. We break it down step by step by step. In that clothing store, the first thing I learned, I was sitting outside having lunch one day and I learned how do you get them into the store. They walk past, they go past. They walk past, they go past. Just by putting barriers behind the mannequins, I increased store traffic by 47%. You know, simple, basic stuff. Then we worked out that women have to try on clothes. So did I want my staff selling you clothing anymore? No. All I wanted them to do was what? Get you to try something on. So when women would come into our store, and you girls are very predictable. You have one of two faces when you're looking at clothing. One face is the, ooh, don't like that. It's like a, ooh. The other face is a, ooh. So one goes down and one goes up. And you train the girls to recognise this face, and when a woman goes, ooh, that's nice, the girls will walk over and go, let me get 2 different sizes and put them in the fitting room for you to try them on. By the way, would you like a tea, coffee and orange juice or a glass of champagne while you're trying them on? What did the majority of women say? Champagne. Those that didn't say champagne said, ooh, I'm not sure about champagne. Well, what if I put some juice in with it? How about a mimosa? Oh, the mimosa's fine. Apparently, if you add juice, it's non-alcoholic. So, but the funny part was our average dollar sale to someone who had champagne was 30% higher than someone who didn't. Actually, you know what ruined our average dollar sale? Husbands and boyfriends. Ladies, if you ever go clothing shopping with your husband, I guarantee when you're in the fitting room, he's standing outside doing this. Looking at his feet thinking, I feel like a dirty old perv standing out front of the women's changing rooms. I wish she would hurry up so we can get the heck out of here. What do you think of this? Yeah, great, let's get it, go. So we learned that the best way to avoid that was to put a bar in the back of our shop with a television, with sport on it, and beer on tap. So whilst the women had a champagne, the men had a beer, and literally to this day I remember this customer sitting at the bar, game's on, he's having a beer, his wife's buying stuff. She comes out and she goes, what do you think? Yep. Yeah. Oh, not sure. Like the pants though? Yeah. The game's still on, he's still got a beer. She walks over and says, honey, I'm finished. Why don't you get some other things then? Well, this will be finished in 5. You know, you've got to learn how your customers buy. If you know who they are and where they're from, it's the first part of marketing. You can't decide whether you're going to do a radio ad or a TV ad or a newspaper ad or a letter or a script or a website until you know this stuff. If you don't know this, you can't design a marketing campaign.